No doubt that you've been coached, taught, mentored how to run the business, how to be successful, how to make the money. But let me do something. Spoiler alert, you are not alone. And what I try to say with this one? Well, in this episode, we're going to talk about something what you don't learning every day from your business coaches, life coaches, and people around you, because obviously they don't know. Whether the reason you founded a business or are you chasing that top position in a firm, you must remember that you are not alone on that quest and that your business can create difficulties for others to attain their goals. Now, comes the point when you like to talk but don't know how to execute. At very least, you will be told, as I say, by many what you should do, how and when. But most of those who will advise you all these brilliant ideas are just theorists, not doers, for fear of being exposed. In this episode, I will explain to you why most leaders, managers, and coaches fail to battle competition and associate challenges at work, as well as what are 3 aspects or conflicts you must employ and how to do so in order to win over competitors on the market. I wish I could tell you to be brutal, ferocious, and fight. No, you must have a strategy, and your greatest ally is your brain, rather than flaunting your power, rank, and title. Welcome to podcast Live the Battlefield. My name is Bekes. I'm the Guinness World Record holder in continuous audio broadcasting, as well. I spent over 20 years combined in military and diplomatic security intelligence services, as well on a domestic and foreign scene. I'm the author of several books talking about information, investigations, and espionage. And today, let's go dig this topic deep into the core, how you can apply 3 elements in conflict against your competitors. But first, let's go start with this. What are those frequent errors? Frequent errors individuals commit when interacting with adversaries, competitors, or enemies. Common pitfalls are that can impede the efficiency of both individual and organization are frequently encountered in the domain of competition and conflict. Remember these 2 things, competition and conflict. These errors possess the potential to yield extensive ramification, impacting not only their standing in the marketplace, but also their enduring viability and standing. One of these most consequential mistakes is underestimate your rivals. Do not underestimate your rivals. Quick story short. When I started my business inside intelligence group, nobody wanted to give me a job. People told me, you don't know English, even it's a 5th language, true. You're not born here, true. You don't know nobody, true. But you're gonna fail on every possible step that I have been told. And they underestimated me. Actually, they gave me the fuel to push ahead. So do not underestimate your rivals. Why? Because this may result in lack of readiness, complacency, and you're being suspected to unforeseen obstacles. You'll be suspecting unforeseen obstacles. On the contrary, an overreaction to these actions of competitors may lead to hasty decisions that fail to correspond with strategic goals. Another one, an excessive preoccupation with the short-term benefits may result in disregarding long-term approaches. Now, all these coaches telling you just think strategic. Strategic believing it is following. What is the definition of strategic thinking or strategic thinking or strategic doing? Doing and thinking, yes. It's beyond horizon. It's a hypothesis. It's something you need to plan based on information you have right now, but it's a pure guessing. It's beyond horizon. When the sun even didn't start rising, that is strategic. It's in the future. May or may not happen, but you need to be prepared. So if you have an excessive preoccupation with the short-term benefits, that may result in disregarding long-term approaches. Long-term success generally necessitates a more comprehensive outlook that consider that ever-changing dynamics of the market and the preferences of customers. Another reason why people fail, it's a failure to consider innovation as an additional common error. Strictly adhering to well-established methodologies may result in organization becoming immobile and unresponsive to evolving conditions. It's essential to invest innovation to maintain competitive edge. What does that mean? I'll give you two examples. Second World War, Germany, they have a new innovation called the Blitzkrieg, lightning war. They've done it, all of this. They build the weapons for such a type of warfare. However, war was dragging. The Allies, they build new weapons, new innovations, how to combat, their Blitzkrieg, their technology, their methodologies, their operational structure, and all this list goes on. Germans never adopted this, and they lost the war. Secondly, you can see that now the war in Ukraine. The Ukraine adopted the different improvisations, innovations to combat the Russians. The Russians heavily paid the price. Yeah, absolutely. Almost 250,000 soldiers' lives died. But they're learning very quickly and they're innovating how to protect themselves against weapons of the enemy. So do not make a complacency. Innovations are welcome. And thirdly, most importantly, from 2020 to 2022, we had something called lockdowns, such a word, lockdowns. And we've been forced to sit behind the screen. There's a lot of things happening behind the screen. We're watching, we're innovating, we want this, we want to have that and this ordered with a press on the button, but things have changed. Pandemic, it's over, people get out, it's a time for holidays, traveling, everything else. Most of people are still living in pre-COVID times, believing that this is the proven tactics. It doesn't work that way. Don't make mistake. Innovation is good. Next one, it's a striking balance between the ethical consideration and competition is of like significance. Well, when you decide to participate in unethical or unlawful activities, that may lead to significant repercussions, such as legal charges and harm to one's reputation. Your reputation. Do not do this. Another mistake companies and individuals do is neglecting the welfare of customers and employees, and that may result in adverse consequences for the reputation and overall performance of organization. If your client is happy and motivated staff, there are no rooms for error. You're gonna be good. But if you forget the welfare of your clients or even your employees, that's gonna result in your less success. Alignment and efficient communication are critical components of any organization. Internal conflicts and misunderstandings can potentially undermine the competitive position of any organization due to miscommunication and lack of alignment. So, working from home, it sounds good. It sounds very tempting. It's beautiful. You wake up in the morning and you walk in your pajamas but you don't communicate with your peers as you're doing in the office. You don't have the cup of coffee with your peers as you do with your bosses and managers. What do you have? Yeah, maybe you have some online meetings and everything else, but more or less people have a tendency to relax and, buzzing somewhere else. Ultimately, success and the maintenance of sustainable and ethical approach are a contingent upon the avoidance of these frequent errors in competitive circumstances. Now, to achieve this harmonious coexistence of vigilance and ethical behavior, it's imperative to demonstrate the ability to adjust to evolving circumstances and maintain allegiance to the interests of the stakeholders and, most importantly, fundamental components in effectively managing the complexities of conflict and competition. Now, I want you to remember this part. When you understand your weaknesses, which I just now tried to explain to you, what are major complex issues you can face, from communications to legal behavior, illegal activities, and the list goes on. Sooner or later, you're going to find yourself in a position that you need to wage some type of, I'll call this warfare, against your competitors, against people who try to undermine your business, undermine your company, your lifestyle, and list goes on. And I adopted something called 3 stages of conflict. 3 stages of conflict, which I'm going to elaborate you, and they're adopted and proven method for you to apply in your corporation. When you decide to apply those 3 stages of conflict, it's very important that sooner or later you will be in position to fight this type of conflict. So I'm going to equip you in an army with a theory. But if you're happy to discuss more beyond theory and learn more practical, feel free to contact me. The notion you allude, which compromises three components, are associated with contending with rivals or adversaries. It appears to be a frequently deliberate strategy within competitive business environment. It's occasionally denoted by the moniker which is called 3 stages of conflict or analogous destination. This is a synopsis we're going to learn right now. So, number 1, it's counter the opposition strategy. During this phase, the primary objective is to comprehend and foil the overreaching strategy of the competitor. This requires examination of their marketing position, strategies and strengths and vulnerabilities, responding to their moves in proactive and strategic manner, with also devising methods to disrupt their plans. It's crucial. What does that mean? That means that you need to learn their plans. How are you going to learn? You must use their legal methods, open source of intelligence. Sometimes you're gonna, maybe hire somebody, maybe what a corporation do. Let's just say hypothetically, what most corporations do, they do so-called headhunting. Headhunting can be beneficially, it can be very detrimental for organization. Let's go start with why the headhunting can be beneficial. Benefits of the headhunting is that you can hire the person for more money who's going to be prepared to talk to you what they did or what he or she did on a workplace of your competitor. Let's go end here. What is the negative downside? Well, in my circumstance, in my case, when I've been engaged in content intelligence consulting, sometimes it's good to isolate the person who's going to be headhunted, and that person which is going to be headhunted, it's going to be deliberately and purposely being fed with information which going to misleading competitors. More or less, competition will use the recruitment agency or somebody to approach you and get you on board. Nobody is immune on this and can be done anytime. However, if you want to fight your competitor, you need to learn their plans, which means that you need to disrupt their planning process. It doesn't require a lot of money, it doesn't require a lot of time, but if you start doing the probing into their plans, they need to react, and you're going to see what reaction is going to be. So everybody's depending on a planning. When I was in the army, particularly when I was going to combat, we all have the plans. And of course, the enemy wants to know what the plans are. We don't tell them what the plans they are, of course. They will try to reach them. Will they reach the proper plans, or we're going to give them so-called dead man secret, which means it's being planted information. So they found on the way we want them to find. Number 2, it's to confront the alliances or vassals of your enemy. During this phase, attention is redirected towards the support network and alliances that the competitor might possess. This may entail discerning and countering alliances, partnership, or other entities that are providing assistance to endeavors of your competitors. That being said, this strategy aims to undermine their external support network. So it's external. Who is the supplier of the pen and paper, toilet paper? Who is the supplier of the electricity? Who is the supplier of these things? You need to find a way how you're going to approach. First, you need to find out who they are. So, but you can do this legwork, it's open. So through open sources intelligence, which is the TV, the newspapers, the advertising, and libraries, and the list goes on. If you're not sure, let me know. I can give you the list entirely. But you need to find out who they are, partners, alliances, and the allegiance, who they belongs. So-called vassals. That's where you attack. Because once when you start disrupting the step number 1, the planes, then you're disrupting their logistics. Because basically that is logistics. That's the military it is about. The war, it doesn't fight, who has more soldiers, who has more rockets, who has more tanks. It's logistics. If the soldier has no food, ammunition, and dry socks, the problem start rising. It is. I've been there, done that, I lived, and trust me, it's not a pleasant situation. In corporations, you have no ammunition and you have no dry socks. But what you have is a toilet paper. Believe it or not, toilet paper. Imagine there's no toilet paper in your workplace. Imagine you have the Somebody who provides services to do maintenance of your computer, so suddenly they don't want to do it. Suddenly, out of the blue, they don't want to do it. You can't question people because they are suppliers. They can stop any moment. There's no contract which is bound somebody to do things needs to be done you want. But when you disrupt on step number 1, the planes, when you disrupt the logistics, where's the step number 3? Step number 3 is to you engage directly in a combat with the enemy. When you're watching the sports like a boxing, right? You saw all these things. What they're doing, it's all pre-event entertainment. You know, the commercials. They go together on a press conference. And they try to suss each other. You know what they're doing, what they're eating. You know who they're seeing. The derogatory comments in newspapers and media, everything else. But sooner or later, you're gonna come and you need to fight your enemy directly. That's what it is. I've been in a war. And I'm telling you how this is done. You will need to face your enemy face to face, somehow, somewhere. So you need to be very certain before you engage in these 3 levels of the conflict that you won't fight your enemy or your competitor. Because that is something which concludes the process by which you, my friend, yes, you, confront and interact with your adversary, which means going to be, guilt conscious feeling, I didn't want to do this, I didn't want to do that, you're going to feel bad, they're going to attack you, they're going to blast you, they're going to bully you. That's what's happening. However, you should have the ideally diminish their support network and disrupt their strategy by this juncture, which will make it more advantageous for you to engage with them directly. Large corporations don't see us as smacking each other. They usually play the soccer together the cricket or golf or soccer or basketball. They're sending their lawyers, right? They're pretending they don't have no idea, right? But behind the closed doors, most of them, they go together for drinks, the lunch and everything else, pretending that they don't know what's happening because they want to keep doors open for the future adventures. However, this, after disrupting their strategies and plans, their puzzles and network logistics, should put you into a very favorable position. However, this conflict may manifest in diverse ways, contingent upon the circumstances, including rivalries for resources, consumer market dominance, or market share. You're going to expect this. That being said, this approach transcends the realm of commerce and finds utility across diverse competitive contexts, encompassing politics, athletics, military operations, and more. This statement underscores the significance of thorough preparation and the calculated progression of activities when confronting your adversaries or rivals. If you don't prepare it for yourself, somebody else is going to prepare themselves to put you in that position. So don't forget, there's 3 stages of conflict, but first you need to identify your weaknesses. You don't need to do SWOT analysis. Forget it, that one. And forget somebody tells you what to do, how to do. If they don't know how to demonstrate you in reality, do not take that advice. Feel free to share, like, and comment. Let's go learn from each other. 3 stages of conflict, how they can help you, and what do you believe is good for your business. Thank you.